Did you know this? A small European power once helped reshape Burma. It was a distant land of golden pagodas. Few in Europe knew its name. Yet history has surprising turns. Distant worlds were about to collide. An unlikely chapter was set to unfold. This is a story of ambition and conquest. Imagine the scene. 16th century Burma, a land of ancient kingdoms. Rich traditions flourished there. Then ships appeared on the horizon. They carried men with different dreams. These men came from Portugal. Their arrival would change things forever. This era pulsed with discovery. European explorers charted the unknown. They sought new routes. New riches were their goal. Glory awaited the brave. Burma, with its treasures, was noticed. It became a stage for distant empires, its fate tangled with global events. A clash was inevitable. Cultures were vastly different, beliefs stood worlds apart, ambitions were bound to conflict. The Portuguese brought new weapons. They brought a new religion. Burmese history was on the verge of a dramatic shift, a forgotten invasion with lasting echoes. Who were these Portuguese adventurers? They hailed from Europe's western edge. In the 16th and 17th centuries, they were giants, masters of the sea. Their caravels sailed uncharted waters, driven by faith and fortune. They built a vast, seaborne empire. Their influence stretched across the globe. Portugal's reach was astonishing. From Brazil in the New World to the Spice Islands of the East, they established fortified trading posts. Goa in India became their eastern capital. Malacca controlled vital shipping lanes. Their soldiers were battle-hardened. Their cannons spoke a fearsome language. Meanwhile, what of Burma? It was then known as Pegu, Ava, or by its dynasties. The powerful Taungoo dynasty ruled. They had unified much of the land. Great kings built magnificent cities. Buddhism was the heart of their culture. But unity was often fragile. Regional conflicts simmered beneath the surface. Burma was a land of plenty. Teak forests stood tall and proud. Rubies and jade lay hidden in its soil. Rice paddies fed its people. These riches were a powerful lure. Neighboring kingdoms eyed them keenly. Siam, Arakan, and others were rivals. This complex world awaited the Portuguese arrival. Into this volatile mix stepped a man. His name was Filipe de Brito e Nicote. He was a Portuguese mercenary. De Brito saw opportunity in chaos. He would carve out his own kingdom. De Brito arrived in Lower Burma. He initially served the king of Arakan. The Arakanese controlled the port of Syriam. De Brito was put in charge of its customs house. This position gave him power. In 1603, De Brito made his move. He seized control of Syriam. It was a bold and treacherous act. He expelled the Arakanese governor. He declared himself Lord of Syriam. Effectively, he became an independent ruler, a Portuguese warlord in the heart of Burma. He even traveled to Goa for official Portuguese backing. De Brito immediately began to fortify Syriam. He built strong walls and ramparts. He deepened the moats around the city. He invited Portuguese soldiers and settlers. His small port became a formidable fortress. It was a direct challenge to Burmese authority, and a beacon for Portuguese power in the region. The stage was set for a major confrontation. De Brito was not content with just Syriam. He launched military expeditions. He aimed to expand his territory. His forces raided surrounding towns and villages. Pillaging became a common practice. He employed European military tactics. His soldiers were disciplined and well-armed. This gave them a significant advantage initially. The Portuguese brought advanced weaponry. Cannons and muskets were new to this theater. Burmese armies relied on traditional arms. Elephants, swords, and spears were their mainstays. The firepower of De Brito's forces was shocking. It allowed a smaller force to dominate. Burmese commanders struggled to adapt. The technological gap was brutally clear. Cultural and religious friction grew intense. De Brito showed little respect for local customs. He was a fervent Catholic. He saw Buddhism as a pagan faith. Buddhist pagodas were desecrated under his rule. Sacred bells were melted down. Their bronze was used to cast cannons. This sacrilege horrified the Burmese people. De Brito actively promoted Catholicism. Some conversions were voluntary, many others were forced. This created deep-seated resentment. He alienated potential allies. His rule became increasingly tyrannical. The Burmese people yearned for liberation. The seeds of a massive rebellion were sown. The Burmese would not tolerate this foreign tyrant. A new leader emerged to challenge De Brito, King Anaukpetlun of the restored Taungoo dynasty. He was a skilled warrior and statesman. He began to unify the Burmese kingdoms. His primary goal: expel De Brito. He vowed to reclaim Syriam for Burma. The kingdom prepared for war. In 1613 King Anaukpetlun marched. A vast Burmese army advanced on Syriam. Thousands of soldiers, war elephants, and boats. They laid siege to de Brito's fortress. The siege was long and brutal. Both sides fought with fierce determination. De Brito hoped for reinforcements from Goa, but help from the Portuguese viceroy never came. Inside Syriam, conditions grew desperate. Food supplies dwindled rapidly. Disease began to spread among defenders. De Brito's men fought bravely, but their numbers were too few. The fortress was completely isolated. The Burmese siege lines tightened. The end was drawing near for the Portuguese warlord. After a 35-day siege, Syriam fell. The Burmese forces overwhelmed the defenders. Filipe de Brito and Nicote was captured. His fate was sealed. King Anaukpetlun ordered a gruesome execution. De Brito was impaled on a high stake. He suffered for 3 agonizing days. His death served as a stark warning to interlopers. The fall of Syriam was decisive. It marked the end of de Brito's reign. Portuguese power in Lower Burma was broken. King Anaukpetlun asserted Burmese sovereignty, but the Portuguese presence lingered. The echoes of this invasion lingered. It left important legacies. History remembers this clash. One major impact was military. The Burmese learned from the conflict. They recognized the power of European firearms. Cannons and muskets became more common. Burmese armies adopted these weapons. This changed regional warfare. It influenced future conflicts. Military technology crossed cultures. A unique community emerged. Many Portuguese were captured. They became known as Baingi, integrated into Burmese society, retained distinct cultural traits. Many kept their Catholic faith. This community exists today, a living link to the past. This Portuguese adventure is often overlooked. A small footnote in colonial histories. But for Burma, it was significant. It shaped its relationship with Europe, demonstrated the kingdom's resilience, highlighted complex interactions, a story of ambition, faith, and resilience. The clash shaped history.